All right, y'all. What's good, everybody? Like, share, subscribe. Cash App $ Winston Spivey. Hope everybody's having a good day today. I'm going to bring up something I've been meaning to bring up. So there's this law in Kentucky here, right? And I think that a lot of other states are going to follow through. Probably more of your southern states, I'm willing to bet. Okay, is that they're doing mandatory 50-50 child custody here. Okay, for couples that are getting divorced and things like that, with couples with children, okay, and all that. All right, and what this does, number one, uh, they're looking at more of the best interest of the children, okay, because I think naturally in the South is more family oriented in the South, number one. But with this act, right, that I think that it keeps marriages together, okay. But if marriages don't work out, and yeah, marriages don't work out for whatever reason, I've been there, ladies and gentlemen, okay, then you look at now, all right, you do want to, take care of the children as a man, okay, and all that. And you're looking at the best interests of the children. And I think that it kind of weakens the chance of the mothers, if that applies to this type of mother, that'll try to weaponize, the custody, whether the father can have it or the father cannot have it. So, like I say, that they're making this like a mandatory thing or whatever when amid divorce. So, for those two reasons, and I think that that's good for marriages that don't work out. So fathers don't have to, so much go through the ringers and things like that. And I think that it will affect like the child support, because 50-50, okay, that economically, let's look at it from an economical aspect, okay. Many of them, they really don't have to pay as much. And I think that when a lot of women look at this as an economical sense, okay, to where they're going to be getting less if, with this provision than they would when they're married or whatever, then they're going to probably either regret, okay, let's say either want to stay in their marriage, or they're going to probably be like, man, you know what? I regretted even leaving in the first place, because the way that many of these courts have it here in America, ladies and gentlemen, okay, because the courts here are not really for the father. The way that is set up or whatever, then okay, they already know what in 10 years that you could leave, a woman could leave, they can get child support and alimony. The incentive there is to stay married. Okay, so but more so, I believe that this will give the children the opportunity to have more time with the father. Now I know sometimes it doesn't work out that way, okay, just depending on naturally the mother's going to spend half that time with the child regardless, but it could depend on the father's work schedule and things like that, and that applies for the hard working fathers, that kind of thing, manual, work and things like that. It may not always work out that way, particularly like if it's a thing where if your children like are in another state, okay, which my two youngest children are in another state, so I'll come, I don't know, every 6 to 8 weeks, that kind of thing, okay. So but still, I think this is a good provision, okay, that Kentucky's doing, and I hope and pray that there's other states are going to start, falling through with that, particularly with this economy the way it is. Jobs ain't paying, these manly jobs, they're not paying as good as they used to, like what, 40, 50, 60 years ago, with back in the day where they had the Ford Motor Company and the steel mills and things like that. All that stuff is gone now. Okay, many of those jobs are not here anymore. Okay, so I believe that, like I said, when you factor all these facets here, it'll, give not only, like I say, more probably chance for more marriages to last, But for the most part, if it doesn't work, more time for the children to have with their dads, okay? Now, I want to say this in closing, fathers. I would encourage you to go on and do that, okay, in your state and things like that. If you have to get help, some advocacy, they have the advocacy programs, or get a lawyer if you can afford it. They have quid pro quo, and many states or whatever, they do credit the fathers or whatever that really try. They really, really do, okay, because they see what's going on now with a lot of these mothers and all that, okay? If that applies to the mother, okay? I'm saying if that applies. I'm using that as the disclaimer. But with the right comes responsibility, okay? So when you get that right, you need to do your best you can to stick with it. All right? All right, let me end it right there. I appreciate your time, ladies and gentlemen, and things like that, all right? But, hey, family first or whatever, okay? Because one thing you have to remember, whether it works out or not, particularly with kids, I'm saying this for the men as well as the women, it really ain't about you anymore, okay? Always remember what's uppermost in mind. It's always about the best interest. All right, I'm out there. All right, more content coming. Peace.